They have been watching you. Not in a creepy way, not in a surveillance way, but in a way that will completely change how you see yourself. Scientists, psychologists, and researchers secretly observed thousands of people going about their daily lives, and what they discovered will leave you speechless. Because what they found was not what anyone expected. They were not watching your success. They were not watching your achievements. They were watching the moments you thought nobody saw. The moments you chose kindness when you were exhausted. The moments you held yourself together when everything was falling apart. The moments you kept going when you had every reason to quit. And here's the shocking part. Those moments are literally changing the world around you in ways you cannot even imagine. If this is already making you feel something, hit that subscribe button right now. Because on this channel, we go deep into the psychology and spirituality of who you really are. And what we are about to share with you today is one of the most profound discoveries of our time. Stay with me. Here's where it starts. In 1990, a psychologist named Dr. Jonathan Haidt ran an experiment. He called it moral elevation. He gathered groups of people and had them watch strangers perform small, quiet acts of goodness. Someone helping an elderly woman with heavy bags. Someone returning a wallet full of money they found on the street. Someone sitting with a stranger who was crying alone on a bench. And then he measured what happened inside the people who were watching. Their heart rates changed. Their chest felt warm and open. Something shifted inside them. And then, almost instantly, those observers went out and did kind things themselves. They did not plan to. They did not decide to. It just happened. Because goodness is contagious. Your quiet moments of decency are infecting the people around you. Whether you feel it or not, whether you know it or not, you are changing lives just by being who you are in the dark. Now let that sit with you for a second. Because this is not just psychology. This is deeply, profoundly spiritual. Proverbs 20 verse 27 says this: "The human spirit is the lamp of the Lord, searching every hidden place." Read that again. The human spirit is a lamp, not a spotlight, not a floodlight, a lamp. Something quiet, something steady, something that shines even when it is not trying to. And according to Scripture, God uses that quiet light in you to illuminate things that are hidden, broken hearts that nobody else could reach, situations that seemed completely hopeless, people who had given up on ever being seen. Your presence, your energy, your quiet faithfulness is a searchlight in the dark places of the world. And you have been doing this without even knowing it. Now here's where it gets even more incredible. Researchers at Harvard did a study on something called emotional contagion. And what they found is almost impossible to believe. Your emotions, your energy, your inner state do not stay inside you. They travel, literally. The people around you absorb your emotional state without knowing it. The way you carry yourself when you walk into a room changes the nervous systems of every single person in that room. If you walk in with quiet confidence, people calm down. If you walk in with unresolved anxiety, people start to feel on edge. And you never said a word. You just showed up. This means that every morning when you wake up and choose to be grounded instead of reactive, you are doing something sacred. You are being a stabilizing force for people who do not even know they need one. Your coworker who has been battling depression. Your neighbor who is on the edge of giving up. Your child who is watching how you respond to pressure. They are all being shaped by what you carry inside yourself. And here is what the psychologists discovered next. The people who consistently had the most positive impact on others were not the loudest. They were not the most successful. They were not the most famous. They were the most internally consistent. They showed up the same way in private as they did in public. They chose patience in traffic when no one was watching. They chose honesty in small moments when lying would have been easier. They chose to pray, to reflect, to process their pain instead of projecting it onto others. And that internal consistency created a frequency, a vibration, a signal, and the people around them caught it. This is exactly what the ancient spiritual teachers were pointing to. This is why Jesus did not lead with power, he led with presence. He wept with people, he sat with the broken, he touched the ones that society refused to, and everywhere he went, transformation followed. Not because he was announcing himself, but because of what he carried inside. And here's the truth that psychology is now scientifically confirming. You carry something too. Every single one of you watching this right now. There is something inside you that has been sustaining people you will never even meet. There is a researcher at Stanford named Dr. Emma Seppala. She studied something called compassionate presence, and her findings were startling. When a person who has done deep inner work, who has faced their wounds and chosen healing, sits in a room with someone who is suffering, the suffering person's cortisol levels drop. Their breathing slows, their heart rate decreases, without medication, without intervention, without even a long conversation, just by being close to someone who has done the work on themselves. Your healing is medicine for other people. Your decision to face your trauma instead of running from it. Your decision to forgive when unforgiveness would have been justified. Your decision to keep your faith even when your prayers felt unanswered. All of it is doing something invisible but immeasurable in the lives of everyone around you. Now I need to ask you something personal. Have you ever been in a room with someone and just felt better? You didn't know why. They didn't say anything particularly wise, but something about being near them made the weight feel lighter. You are experiencing the scientific reality of a healed person's presence, and someone has felt that from you too. Maybe many people, people you have forgotten, people who passed through your life briefly, people who never told you what you meant to them, but they felt you, and they carried that feeling with them long after they walked away. Now let us talk about the moments they were watching. Because the research goes even further. Scientists studying human behavior found that the moments people remember most are not the grand gestures, not the speeches, not the celebrations. The moments that changed them were always small. A teacher who believed in them when they were failing. A stranger who smiled at them on a day they were thinking about not going on. A friend who called at the exact right moment without knowing why they were calling. A parent who said sorry. Those small, unplanned, unrehearsed moments of human decency are the ones that rewire people's brains. They are the moments that shift someone's entire narrative about what life is and what they deserve. And those moments happen when you are not trying to be great. They happen when you are just being you, fully present, fully honest, fully human. This is what they discovered when they were secretly watching. Not your highlights, your ordinary days, your ordinary moments, your ordinary choices. And those ordinary choices are extraordinary in the lives of the people around you. Now here is the spiritual dimension that I do not want you to miss. Many of you are going through seasons right now where you feel invisible, where you feel like nothing you do matters, where you feel like you are pouring into people and places and nothing is growing. But what this research confirms, and what Scripture has always said, is that the most powerful work is always happening in the places you cannot see. The seed that becomes a tree does not see itself growing. The lamp does not see the rooms it is lighting, but the light is still real. You are still real. Your impact is still real. Even when you cannot measure it, even when you cannot feel it, even when the people who benefit most from your presence never say thank you. The world is different because you are in it. And now the most important discovery of all. The researchers also found something about what sustained these high-impact, ordinary people. The ones who kept showing up. The ones who kept being consistent. The ones who kept choosing healing over bitterness. They all shared one thing. They had a source. A place they went to refill. For some it was prayer. For some it was nature. For some it was community. For some it was scripture. But every single one of them had somewhere they went to be reminded of who they were. Because the world will drain you. People will drain you. Even beautiful, purposeful, meaningful work will drain you. And if you do not have a source, you will eventually give from an empty place. And giving from an empty place is not generosity. It is self-destruction dressed up as sacrifice. You need to be replenished. You need to be renewed. You need to go back to the well. And if you have been running on empty, pouring out and never pouring in, this is your permission to stop, to rest, to refill, to remember who you are before you go back out there. Because the world needs you sustainable, not just sacrificial. The world needs you whole, not just helpful. The world needs you full, not just functioning. And when you take care of your own spirit, you become more powerful than any highlight reel you could ever produce. Here is what I want you to walk away with today. They were watching, and what they saw was not perfect, but it was powerful. Your consistency when it was hard. Your gentleness when you were angry. Your hope when the evidence said give up. Your love when love was not returned. That is what they saw. That is what changed people. That is what the research confirmed. That is what Scripture has always declared. You are a lamp, and lamps do not have to shout to change a room. They just have to stay lit. So stay lit. Keep doing the quiet work. Keep showing up. Keep healing. Keep choosing love in the small moments, when nobody seems to be watching. Because somebody always is, and you are already changing more lives than you will ever know. If this spoke to something in you, drop a heart in the comments right now. And share this with one person who needs to hear this today. Because they might be in a moment right now where they feel invisible. And this might be the thing that reminds them they are not. Subscribe if you have not yet, because we do this every week. We go deep into the truth about who you are and who you are becoming. And we are just getting started.